Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Jade, and in today's video we're going to be doing a Q&A. I asked for your questions on Instagram. If you don't have me on Instagram, I do have a YouTube Instagram. It is jdbeauty, all lowercase, _XO. I will leave it in the description down below. I also have my normal Instagram, which I do also put the Q&A boxes up on. That is jademh_x, which will also be in the description below. I'm going to be doing just a little bit of like makeup get ready with me while we talk through the questions. So I've screenshotted all the questions off my Instagram to ask. I've got quite a few to get through, so I'm going to try and get through these as best as I can to answer all your questions. I think I'm going to do a part 1 and part 2 because I did get a lot of questions. Questions somebody asked was, do you smoke? The answer is no, I do not smoke. I have vaped a few times, but even then I don't really see the point in it. I think the only few times I did do it, I was just doing it to seem cool, and I've realised that there's just no reason to. So no, I don't smoke, I don't vape, I don't do e-cigarettes, I don't do any of that. The next question somebody asked is sex before marriage, question mark. This is actually a little bit of a weird question. I don't know if the person's asking me like, do you believe in sex before marriage? Are you gonna do sex before marriage? But I'll try and cover all the kind of possible outcomes that question could go towards. So I actually used to believe in sex after marriage. We'll go opposite. I didn't believe in sex before marriage, I believed in sex after marriage. I'm not religious, I just thought, you know, we might as well wait until I get married, because then I know personally, because of who I am, that if I marry someone, they will be someone like I love a lot. Like, they will probably be most likely a solid, good husband, and I probably will never get a divorce or anything like that. So I believe in that. Now I don't really. I just think, you know, you lose it when you lose it, and you have it when you have it. It's not something that should be forced. It's not something that should be pressured. If you're 16 and you feel ready, then do it when you're 16. If you don't feel ready until you're married, settled down, had your life sorted out, then that is also completely fine. I think it's a personal preference. So my opinion on it is, if I lose it before I get married, not big of a deal, don't really mind. I don't really have a set plan. I just think it'll happen when it happens, because that's so. The next question somebody asked is, am I an introvert or extrovert? I think you say it like that, extrovert. So I think a lot of my friends and people that meet me would full on straight up describe me as an extrovert. I'm very confident, I'm very loud, I'm very crazy, I'm very out there. I speak to really most people like when I meet them for the first time. So I wouldn't really say I'm an introvert, but I think I actually am a little bit of both. I think everyone's kind of a little bit of both, but if obviously I had to say which one I like go towards more and fit into more, then I'd definitely say I'm an extrovert. Obviously I get become like an introvert depending on the scenario. Like, if I'm meeting new people for the first time, sometimes I get shy, sometimes I get nervous. It depends what mood I'm in. If I'm sad, I tend to hide away a bit more, and I tend to be a little bit more introverted. So I think it depends on my emotions, but without like going into it too much, I think overall I'm more of an extrovert. I actually get along with extroverts and introverts equally as well. I have read that people say that extroverts obviously get along with extroverts better and introverts get along with introverts better, but I think I get along with actually both of them a balanced amount. I have quite a good mix of introverts and extroverts in my friendship group. Before I answer the next question, I've just applied the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Water Gel. I actually do have a few makeup related questions, which I will answer as I'm going through, but one of the questions, which I haven't got to yet, but I know it's a question, is which products, makeup products, do you like? Now, this isn't a makeup product, this is like a skincare product, but I cannot do my makeup without this. Just like feeling like really hydrated and moisturized. Some people don't like that. I all round just think it makes me feel so much fresher, so much nicer, so much readier for the day. And I think this prevents the makeup like clinging to the dry patches on my skin, and it just makes my skin feel less, because I am a full coverage queen. I never really don't do full coverage. I'm a little bit of like a full coverage all the time kind of person, and therefore like it can feel heavy on my skin a lot, and this makes sure that my makeup does not feel thick or gross throughout the whole entire day. So yeah, this is a product that I actually recommend. It's not cheap. I'd say it's like, I think it's like $12.99, but it lasts me a long time because you only need a little bit. That goes a long way because it's so like hydrating. And I've been through, this is like my third pot of this, so obsessed. So let's get onto the foundation. So for foundation, I actually have like two. I just have the Huda Beauty Faux Filter High Coverage Cream Foundation. Obsessed, absolutely obsessed. I haven't tried many full coverage foundations, would you believe it or not, but I'm obsessed. This one is really pale for me. It's in the shade Vanilla 120B. I put my like bronzer and my contour on and all that sort of stuff, it evens out. So I use this. I used to use this all the time, like it was my holy grail. And then I went to prom and I had a makeup artist do my makeup, and she was using the Huda Beauty, but she wanted to mix it with something else that was slightly darker, because obviously this is too light for me, and she was still worried with all the photos and that it would look too light no matter how much bronzer she put on, and she didn't want to cake it on. So she asked me to find another full coverage foundation that she can mix with this that was slightly more my colour. The Superstay 24-Hour Full Coverage Foundation by Maybelline, and I got it in the shade Light Beige, which is 5. Now this is too pinky toned for me, but this is too pale for me. For some reason mixing these two together made my perfect shade. So this is what I wore to prom. I will insert some pictures now. This is how it turned out, which I think is like the fullest coverage pair I think I've ever seen. So want full coverage, want no like spots shown, you want like flawless, smooth, full coverage base, lasts all day, party all night. These two are great. But because I didn't want, because this is so expensive, I wanted something like a little duo that I could use all the time that's not these two, so I could save just this one on its own for when I go out and like to events. I don't really use that one anymore. In fact, I just use this foundation but in two different shades. So I just use the Superstay 24-Hour Full Coverage Foundation by Maybelline, but I have them in two different shades. So obviously I have Light Beige, as I said, and I also have 3 True Ivory. Mix these together. This is too pinky tone for me, and this is slightly still too pale for me, but this has got the perfect yellow tone in it for me, and I am more yellowy toned than pink, but in some areas I need pink tone, so I mix these two together and they also create a perfect shade for me. So obsessed with this foundation. So I've just applied 2 pumps of the pink beige and 3 pumps of the True Ivory. I like to do 1 more pump of the yellowy toned, more paler one than the pink one, because if I had put too much pink on my skin, obviously it looks not right at all, because I'm not pink toned and it just looks too pink on my face. I need more yellowy, so just putting that extra 1 pump helps me a bunch. And then just get the opposite end of a makeup brush and stick it in my foundation on my hand once I've mixed it, and just put it in dots all over my face, and then I use a Real Techniques sponge. I wet it obviously, and it expands to about this size, and I use this to bounce my foundation in or I go in with a buffing brush. I don't really use it so much at the moment. I'm into my sponge more. I keep like going back and forth between the two. I literally used a sponge all the way up until I started college, and then at college when we do makeup we have to use a brush, so then I started becoming addicted to brushes, but then I realised it makes it makes too streaky for me, so I go back in. Now I'm back in with my sponge. So yeah, I'm just going to bounce it in and answer another question. So the next one actually is makeup related, and the girl asks, do you like doing your makeup or do you do it to boost your confidence? I think actually, all honesty, it's a little bit of a mixture. I don't think anyone that says they don't do it to boost their confidence is telling the truth, in my opinion, because I'm not saying I'm not saying that you're lying about not being self-confident. You can be self-confident but still do your makeup to boost your confidence, because, you know, just because you're confident doesn't mean that if someone, like, for example, if someone said you're beautiful and, you know, you were self-confident in yourself to know that you are, you still wouldn't like say, you don't need to tell me that, like, I already know. Like, it's still nice to hear, you know what I mean? So even though, like, I know that I'm doing it because I enjoy just doing makeup, I also do it to boost my confidence, because even though I am not really an all-round self-confident person, I don't like struggle with my face too bad. Like, there's some parts of my face that I don't like, but then there's like bits of us that we all don't like. You do it for both reasons. I just like, I'm obsessed with makeup. I like the creativity of it. I like being able to be like my own artist and do things and like shape my eyeshadow in a way no one else has done before, or put colours together in a way that no one else has before, or mix colours on the lip that no one else has before. Do you know what I mean? And creating new brow shapes and all this stuff. I just like it, and I also like it because I was one day sitting in my room and I was like 11, and I don't know, I can't remember what happened, but it was a bad day and something had happened and I was all up in my feels. I was quite upset, and with some people obviously music is the escape. Music lets out all their emotions. Music puts their mind at ease, you know, lets them just like calm down and stuff. And as much as music does do that for me, makeup is kind of the first thing I realised that when I did it, it had that effect. Because I don't know, it makes me feel empowered and like ready to like boss the day. And then also to boost my confidence, you know, I'm not really like fully confident in who I am, but then I'm also not that unself-confident that I can't leave the house. So this just like gives me the extra push to feel completely confident. Now, saying that, I don't always go out with makeup on. Like, most of the time I do, and it's a full face, and that's like 95% of my time, but 5% of my time I actually do go out without makeup on, and I don't feel like to the point where I want to hide away, but I still feel like, oh, I've only had a little bit of concealer on or a little bit of powder. So I think it's a mixture, really, to be honest. So this is my foundation, and as you can see, I didn't do my eyelids, but it's like a bit pale for me, but it's my kind of tone, and it's really full coverage, and I didn't really need that much either. I think I've used a little bit too much, but this is what the base looks like so far. So now I'm going to use concealer, and I have been obsessing over this one concealer, and I have to show you guys and tell you guys about it because it might be a game changer. It might be a game changer. The next question somebody asked was, did you have a good childhood? I did have a good childhood. I'm still a child, so I'm still in my childhood. That sounds past tense. I'm not 18 yet. I'm 18 next year in Feb. Having a good childhood. If you mean childhood as in like when you were young, then yes, I had a good childhood. I did, but it was also quite a hard childhood at the time. I don't feel like I'm giving you guys very good solid answers here, but I feel like I need to explain both sides of the story. Like, I'm having a good childhood as in, you know, I wasn't put in an orphanage, I wasn't abandoned, I didn't go through, you know, abuse or anything. You know, there's much worse scenarios I could have gone through to claim I had a bad childhood. But I also, you know, personally for me, my childhood was quite, or it is quite suffocating, but that's because my parents are very strict. They're not religious, it's nothing like that, they're just strict as in, like, they didn't stop giving me like a bedtime until I was like 15. They never let me go out until like, they let me go out until it starts getting dark, and then they make me come back. I like have to tell them where I am every 5 minutes. I have to text them where I'm going. I have to call them and text them, keep them updated like every hour. I need to tell them where I'm going, who I'm going with, and all that sort of stuff. So it was quite constricting. I felt like I was like kept out of so many possible things that I could do as a child. So it was bad for me in that way, but it was good as in, like, I never got into any fights, any drama. I was a really badly behaved child in primary school, like really bad. So maybe that constriction, maybe that lack of being able to do things and my parents being strict affected me in that way. I got through life with very little heartbreak, very little deaths. You know, I sailed through it, to be honest. So I am quite lucky in that respect. But the concealer, and I hope that answers your question, but the concealer that I've been obsessing over at the moment, which I could almost say is a dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape, and I've used the Tarte Shape Tape, is the L'Oreal Paris Infallible More Than Concealer Full Coverage Concealer. Now you will keep hearing the word full coverage because that's just who I am. And I have two of these. I have one in Cashmere 327 and 326. Actually put this one on like I'm doing right now in the areas that I've done, and then I get the 326 and go over the exact same areas and then bounce that in as well, and then apply powder. So I do 2 lots of concealer, but I don't know where my 326 is. And it's an amazing concealer. Again, it's up there, you know, with drugstore prices. It's like 10 or just maybe £10, maybe a little bit more, but again, it doesn't look quite so big on camera, but this could last you a while, and it's full coverage, so you don't even need that much to be able to get a full coverage result, which means it'll last even longer. And it's so smooth, so creamy, so buttery, and the shade range is insane, and I love it a lot. So if you want a concealer and you only like have enough money to buy one, like, you don't need to buy any other, that one's great. Like, just, this is such a great concealer. So I'm gonna blend this in, and then I will come back and answer another question on my concealer. And I know I'm looking very pale, but I will get darker, I promise. So the next question somebody asked is, who's your favourite artist at the moment? I think she's referencing to like music, in which case I don't really have a favourite artist, I'm not gonna lie, because obviously I'm listening to new music, but I'm listening to a range of artists when my new music, so I can say a couple. At the minute I am liking Sarah Bareilles, I think that's her name, Sarah Bareilles. I'm also liking someone called Jaden Hossler. He does like almost like young blood style music, like rock kind of pop music. I'm obsessed with him. He's a TikTok star, but he literally has the voice of an actual angel and a rock star mixed into one. It's like a church boy that gets, that, you know, like part of a choir, but also can be a rock punk. He's so good, and I'm just obsessed with his songs at the moment. Like, I'm listening to them on repeat. Also, I've always been a big fan of Machine Gun Kelly, but at the moment I'm listening to his songs on repeat. And my friend got me into Lil Peep, so I'm obsessed with Lil Peep at the moment. I like some of his songs. I love a lot of the songs, actually. Take that back. I'm listening to him a lot at the moment. So I actually have a range, because all those people that I've said have actually come from all different like genres of music. I don't really stick to one genre of music. I listen to all sorts, really, to be honest, which I think is quite a good thing about me. I don't really like, I listen to like almost every music. I even listen to classical sometimes. If you want me to do like a top 10, top 100, top 50 favourite music artists, then let me know in the comments below and I can do that. So now I've powdered one powder. I used to use the Rimmel Stay Matte powder and I love that powder. It's all broken up into this little pot as loose powder, but that is a pressed powder. It should be a pressed powder. I just put it in this little translucent powder container and shook it up so it was like loose powder to use. If you're on a budget and like you're a beginner makeup newbie and you need a powder, the Rimmel Stay Matte is so good. I do love it. It is one of my favourites. There's no particular reason why I stopped using it, but I heard a lot of YouTubers talking about this one powder and how amazing it was on the skin, and like how soft, how crease free, how long lasting this powder was. And so I just thought, you know, I have it in the UK in my Superdrug in my local town, I will buy it and try it. So this is the Fit Me Matte Plus Poreless powder by Maybelline. Again, it's a Fit Me powder, pressed powder. It is matte and poreless. As you can tell, I'm obsessed because I've hit pan. This is in the shade 105 Natural Ivory, but I'm sure you can get translucent somewhere. Everything that every YouTuber I've heard has said, creaseless. Now the only things, they look like creases, but they're just like lines, like wrinkles. It's just the way my eyes sit. It's so smooth. It's like baby soft, and it actually like reduces makeup transfer on your fingers. It doesn't make me feel cakey, it doesn't make me feel sticky. It's really, really good and I highly recommend it. And it's not that much at all. I'd say it's like £10 at the most, but I don't think it's £10. I think it's like £7, £6. So moving on to contour. Until a couple months ago, I only ever used one thing to contour, and that was the Hoola Bronzer by Benefit. I used the dark one, the original one. I am a pale ass ghost, so I should use the light version, but yeah, I used the Hoola Bronzer in the original shade. This is literally the only thing I used for literally years and years. But then a couple months ago, I began to collect certain palettes. I'm a hoarder. I'm also a collector. I used to collect snow globes, but now I collect YouTuber collaborations with Revolution. I have all of Sophie Louise, or Sophie Does Nails, no, I have all of Sophie Does Nails is collabs with Revolution, apart from my highlighter palette, but that's because I broke it. And I'm got all of Roxy's Revolution collaborations. I've got a couple, one or two, of Rachel Leary's. I'm just going through all of it. So I picked up this, didn't really think I needed it. It's just a contour and highlighting palette. Got a gigantic mirror, you can see yourselves up there, say hi. And I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed because this has like really, I know it's only 4 quads, but it literally has every kind of skin tone you need. I either dip between this one and this one, or this one and this one. I've never used that one. And I'm starting to hit pan on that one. You can see the grid lines underneath it, so I'm trying to like dip into other ones. Okay, so moving on to contour. Until a couple months ago, I only ever used one thing to contour, and that was the Hoola Bronzer by Benefit. I used the dark one, the original one, Hoola Bronzer, in the original shade. This is literally the only thing I used for literally years and years. But then a couple months ago, I began to collect certain palettes. I'm a hoarder. I'm also a collector. I used to collect snow globes, but now I collect YouTuber YouTuber collaborations with Revolution. I have all of Sophie Louise, or Sophie Does Nails, no, I have all of Sophie Does Nails is collabs with Revolution, apart from my highlighter palette, but that's because I broke it. And I'm got all of Roxy's Revolution collaborations. I've got a couple, one or two, of Rachel Leary's. I'm just going through all of it. So I picked up this, didn't really think I needed it. It's just a contour and highlighting palette. Got a gigantic mirror, you can see yourselves up there, say hi. And I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed because this has like really, I know it's only 4 quads, but it literally has every kind of skin tone you need. I either dip between this one and this one, or this one and this one. I've never used that one. And I'm starting to hit pan on that one. You can see the grid lines underneath it, so I'm trying to like dip into other ones. I use this brush. Never really used to use this brush for contour. I used to use it for powder. It was my favourite powder brush. And I thought I lost it on holiday and I was devastated, but I found it and I swore that I would never use it for anything other than powder, but it really helps me get in my lines and my cheekbones and that. As soon as mine are really hard to find with my face shape, and it may look like I'll go a little bit ham at first, but it all blends out, which is why I love this palette so much, and I think I keep coming back to it over the Hoola bronzer. So much easier to blend. It's drugstore compared to that as Benefit, which is a high-end brand. It blends like butter. It's like not got that much fallout. It's pigmented, so you actually don't need that much. And I think it's worth the money. So you should start from the ear, just like down the bottom of the ear to the front, but I start from the front to the back just because it's easier for me to find my line like that. So I'm just going to blend all through my cheekbones, up here, around my forehead, chin and my nose back, and I'm now contoured. It does look a little bit like orangey on the camera, but I promise you it's not that bad in natural light. So I'm just going to answer a few more questions because I feel like I've been neglecting the question answering, and it is supposed to be a Q&A first and foremost. So a lovely girl asked, what's your worst pet peeve? One of my, I don't really have like many pet peeves coming to mind. Maybe it's just my bad memory, but I only really have one that sticks out, and that's someone who's really full of themselves, really cocky, really like thinks they're the bee's knees. Like, it drives me up the wall. Like, I just think it's like annoying. That bothers me first and foremost. Like, arrogance. I can't deal with people that are arrogant. I would also say, thinking about it, people that don't smell nice, like body odor. Like, it ain't hard to put on deodorant. Like, and I know people are going to come up with me with all these different reasons. Like, they may be poor, they may be on benefits. You can find a cheap deodorant somewhere. Like, even if you don't, I don't know, worst comes to worst, even if you can't use the shower, put some deodorant on. If you can't get deodorant, just cover yourself in a cheap body spray. Something to make you smell nice. Because when you're sitting next to them on a bus or a plane, like, honestly, I want to wreck. It just like, take care of yourself, because you're affecting other people. People that argue feelings with facts. So someone's like, oh, I feel sad because of this, and they're like, well, but that's a fact, and so you shouldn't feel that way. Well, that's how I feel. And also someone like offering opinions as reality. So like, in my opinion, Donald Trump shouldn't be president, and that should be the reality. Well, just because it's your opinion doesn't mean that that's going to then become reality. Like, get your head in the game. Like, just because you feel this way doesn't mean that's how it should be, you know what I mean? I think it's different for like everyone really, what their pet peeves are, but I don't really have too many, but I have a few which I think, you know, dig on me a little bit. I made a little bit of a list. of my pet peeves. I remembered actually. So let's talk about pet peeves. People that say like loud chewing, or people chewing with their mouths open. And it's not like a big pet peeve of mine, but it's something that, like, just like, you know, when it like flicks on you, just like, you know, when a fly comes in, you just like swatting it, but it doesn't make you to the point where you want to like smash it on the table. It's just like irritating. It's like that. What else did I put on my list? I also said when people eat food off your plate without asking. You know, you could have got a plate. You could have moved your hands, got a plate, or asked me to get a plate for you if you can't reach, or you can't move. Get a plate for you, fill it up with your own mouth watering desires. And if it's the same stuff as on my plate, that's fine, you know. Some people will have the same taste in food. But if it's on my plate, that means I've took the time to go get it because I want it, because I like it, because I want to enjoy it. Like, it'd be respectful if you just asked. It bothers me. I'm a big foodie. People who take up the entire side of the street, like, move. Like, just think about it. And to add to that, there's an extra point. People who walk slowly or stop suddenly in the middle of the sidewalk. One-way system, and you've more than likely also heard that my feet walking behind you. So you know I'm walking behind you, and then you just stop. Like, do you not have a place to be? Like, don't we all have places to be if we're walking somewhere? People who leave their dogs poop on the sidewalk, online stores that charge for shipping, people who talk all over you when you're clear in the middle of a sentence. It's all these little things, nothing really major, but that's like some of my like pet peeves that I can list off my head. Blush. I am a big blush fan. I actually know a lot of people that aren't big blush fans. I think more of the population actually don't like wearing blush than do, but I'm a big advocate for wearing blush. I think if you don't have blush, no matter how little or a lot of contour you do, if you don't have blush, your face looks orange, no matter how hard you try or what shade you use. I just think you need blush to complement the bronzer. And I also can say that in terms of which type of blushes I like, whether I like peachy shades, pinky shades, corally shades, brownie shades, orangey shades of blush, I'm pretty diverse. I don't think I'd use a brownie based blush just because I've got brownie contour bronzery product already on me and I don't need any more, but all the other ones I really don't mind using. And also if I have to use brown blush, I wouldn't mind also. So I have quite the range of blush shades to choose from. I have like a peachy one, I have a corally one, I have a pinky one. I also am not opposed to a shimmery blush. I do not mind shimmery blushes. I don't like shimmery bronzers or contours, but shimmery blushes I am not opposed to. So I'm going to pick out a blush, come back with also a question ready, and I'm going to answer it while I'm applying my blush. Okay, so I've got my blushes. I do have more blushes than this, if we're being honest, but I just kind of thought I would talk about some of the ones that I've been obsessed with for years, and also the ones that I'm addicted to currently and have been for the last few years. So first we'll talk about these. These I was literally could not live without. When I first started makeup, and until like last year actually, really, I could not stop using them. As you can see, I've hit pan in near enough every section. I was addicted. Now unfortunately, not to break anyone's heart, but you can't get these anymore. The Tanya Burr Cosmetics company has stopped selling these, stopped producing these, stopped putting these out in stores, which is why I try not to use them anymore, because the things inside them I adore. These are both of her cheek palettes that she did. She only did 2. She did Rosy Flush and Peachy Glow. They're cheek palettes, which means they consist of a bronzer, a blush and a highlight. They're amazing. I love them. So one's more pinky, rosy toned, one's more peachy, orangey toned. And I was literally obsessed with the bronzers. If you ever do find these and you don't know which one to choose from, I'm going to kind of give you like an overview. One of these palettes for the bronzer, it does not matter which palette you buy, because both of the bronzers in this palette are the same. They have the exact same shade, exact same amount of shimmer. They might even have the exact same name actually, hold on. Yeah, they have the exact same shade name. They are just the same bronzer in each palette, so you don't have to worry about that if you're going for bronzer. Highlighter, one is slightly, one is more of a champagne-y pinky colour, and that's in the peachy palette, and in the rosy palette it's more of a yellowy white shade. So depending on if you're like quite dark, I wouldn't go for this highlighter in this palette, and maybe not really even the highlight in this palette to be honest, but this one would be more closer to what you would need. So the one in the rosy palette, so in the pink packaging, is called Oyster Shell, and the highlighter, which is the rosy champagne colour in the gold peachy palette, is called Champagne Shimmer. I do, as you can see, I'm slightly more addicted to the Champagne Shimmer just because this is even too white for me really. But the palettes overall smell amazing. They do smell slightly chemically, but they also kind of smell tropically, which I quite like. So I like that, and I do like the pan sizes, but the thing that I'm addicted to most in these palettes, apart from the bronzer, I'd say the bronzer is my favourite thing to have used, then the blush, then the highlighter. My favourite things to use in the palette now is actually the blush. I'm obsessed with both blushes, but the one I'm drawn to more is in the peachy palette. Overall I'm drawn to the peachy palette more than the rosy palette, but I do use them both. So this one is called Apricot Flush. As you can see, it's like an apricot-y peachy colour. It's got a slight bit of shimmer in it, and it is just beautiful on my skin. Honestly, it's really, really beautiful. I like it. It brings out my skin tone quite well. I just really love it. And then in the rosy palette, I've not used this one nearly as much. This one is called Pretty Peony, so it's like a darker pink, more like a pink rose slash slightly like mauve-y colour in the rosy palette. So if I put them side by side, you can kind of see which one is like, which one's more orangey, apricot-y, peachy, which one's more like a pinky rosy colour, mauve colour. So as I said, I do like this one slightly more than this one, but today I'm going to use this one just to like switch it up a little bit. And I switch between blush brushes. So for ages, the only brush I used to apply my blusher was the Real Techniques blush brush, which obviously I just used it because it was a blush brush and it's by Real Techniques and I quite liked it. But I found that it was a little bit too dense, and because it was too dense, it prevented a lot of pigment from going on the brush. The brush bristles were, and it just like all the product fell into all the pigment fell inside the bristles. So I either like to use this like slightly angled compact brush, or I like to use this big old boy. As you can see, it's pink from blush, which is just this like Primark set of brushes from Primark, Minnie Mouse, sorry. And I actually use this one just to do it. Like if I'm just doing it on my apples here, I use this one. If I'm sweeping it all the way up to my bronzer inwards across my nose, like e-girl kind of style, I will use this brush. So today I'm going to sweep it into my contour, my bronzer, because I like it a lot. So I'm just going to pick up the brush. And now, right, tiny bit, yeah, drugstore brand. she's not even a proper makeup artist, and her blushes, it does not appear like they come too pigmented at the beginning, but once you start going with them, yeah, they become very pigmented and you have to be careful how much you use. So I'm just obviously swooping that up into my contour bronzer area. This question I have got is, have you been enjoying what you do in college? And the answer to that question is yes. I knew immediately when I saw that course at the college that I go to that that was where I was going to be going. No matter how much my heart desired to go to other colleges, that was where I was going, because if I could literally sum up something I wanted to do at college, it'd be exactly what I'm doing. Like, if you said to me, what would you want your course, if you could choose your dream course, what would it entail? And I would have said special effects, makeup, like costumes, dressing up, slight bit of fashion, and YouTube or media. Now obviously you can't get that all in one course. I didn't get any media in this course, but I got the other three. I got a little bit of costume design, like fashion, I got special effects, and I got makeup. And for people that do like special effects and makeup as a job on like theatres and that, it's actually called makeup artistry. So there is a whole subject, a whole like name for what I like to do in life. It's a whole thing, and the fact that it's just like that in a course, and I don't have to go to somewhere like a sixth form and do like media, fashion, beauty studies, and do like 4 A-levels individually, and having like loads of classes like you would at school to be able to get anywhere near to what I want to do. I'm very lucky. So as soon as I saw it as like a whole course, I went, I sat in, I learned about it, I like found out what it would entail. I knew as soon as I visited the college for like their open day, before I chose for final which ones I wanted to go to, that I was going to go there. I was so excited. Like, do special effects, which is what I'm going to be doing this year when I go back after quarantine's over. So I really enjoy it, and the people in my course are so sweet. We all really get along. Actually, none of us fall out really ever, and my lecturers are strict, but they are so loving, so kind, and they're literally like mums to me, really, to be honest. So I'm very grateful, I'm very lucky, and I would highly recommend my course really to anyone who lives kind of near me. So I've just applied my brush and obviously swept it towards my bronzer. I always, this is actually a fun fact, you will never see me without blush on my nose. I always put blush on the end of my nose. I learnt it from a makeup artist once when I went to a thing called the Skills Show. She told me about it. She said it makes you look like warmer and more like soft and like pretty. So I always do that. You'll never not see me without it unless I don't apply blusher, but even then I apply just a little bit on my nose a lot of the time for this past year. And at the moment, our L'Oreal Paris's Life's a Peach blush, as again, peachy blush. This is like a real orangey peach blush, like a true peach blush. And my favourite thing about this, which is actually nothing to do with the actual blush product itself, it smells actually like peaches. Like, it smells like a fresh juicy peach. It's incredible, cheap, affordable, pigment is great, love it. Really into my peachy blushes, and this one's been a holy staple for me. I've literally got my best friend into it. Every time she comes around my house she wants to use it. It's part of one of Kiko's limited collections. I went to Spain with my friend and we went shopping, and Kiko had their summer collection out, which was the Gold Waves beach collection. And even then I wasted all my money on makeup, and while we were there I bought the matching blush and the matching highlight. There was different shades. I think there was 3 or 4 shades of the blush and 3 or 4 shades of the highlighter. I went with number 2 Coral Sunset for the blush. Obviously it's like a corally colour, so it's not like a true pink, it's not a mauve, it's like a light pink with almost like orangey undertones. I'll try and show you it on my hand. It is a little bit like more like light and shimmery. This is actually a really shimmery highlighter and no blush. I feel like I have to say that, but it is gorgeous in the pan. It's just beautiful in the pan, and it's a baked blush. It's a baked blush, so the pigment is going to be there. They last for a long time as well, our baked blushes. So I don't know if you can get this anymore because obviously it was part of a limited collection, but it's one of my favourite blushes. The next question I got was, what's your biggest goal / dream you want to achieve? Honestly, I'm a little bit of a hopeless romantic, and I'm also a little bit of like a planner in life. I know all my kids' names. I know what age I want to first start having kids and all that sort of stuff. I'm a little bit of a life planner, and I know that ruins life a little bit, but it just makes me feel comfort. So my biggest goal / dream I want to achieve is to settle down, to find someone who loves me just so much I love them. You know, just a classic fairy tale kind of story, to be honest. I'm a little bit of like a head up in the clouds, but I want to find a husband that loves me forever. I only really want to get married once. I want it to be, you know, the one. I want to have 4 kids. I want to have a healthy, happy family. I kind of want to be, I want to be a YouTuber. That is my dream job, like a social media influencer. I want my own makeup brand or special effects brand. I don't know how rich YouTube is going to make me, if I even get to be a YouTuber, but if I get to a YouTuber and I'm pretty successful, then I'd like to buy my mum a Range Rover. I actually don't want to live in a fancy house. I want to live in a little cottage in the countryside. I want to go to uni. I want to just like raise awareness. I've decided this over the last few weeks. I want to be a massive advocate for suicide prevention and mental health and speaking out, especially actually aimed at boys, really. And I want to open up this whole new way we look at things. So I have like lots of little like things and ideas going on in my head, but I think my biggest achievement, if I could sum all of that up, is just to be happy in myself and to love myself and be at peace with myself, and love myself for who I am. So speaking of loving things, let's get into highlighters. Again, big fan of highlighter. I'm one of those ones that like blinds you to the gods and puts too much on, but like I'm kind of obsessed with it because like too much to other people is like good, just enough for me. But I have some staples that I absolutely love that I will also talk about. So the ones that I have been literally obsessing over for the longest time, well, yeah, I'd say for a very long time, is this one right here. This is the classic MAC Soft and Gentle. I literally bought this like 3 or 4 years ago. I've still got it. It still works. It's still as pigmented and amazing as it before, but it's going to be hard to show you because how broken it is. But look how near pan I am. Like, can you see that? Look how close to pan I am. That's like the pan there. Like I literally have nothing left. I'm scraping to get bits out of it. Again, I'd heard quite a few YouTuber reviews about it, and everyone was saying how amazing and pigmented it was. And my friend was like, that's not pigmented at all, like you got a crap highlighter. But I love it. Again, I would say this is not really a champagne. I think it's got like a hint of champagne, but it's more like a pink with little like whitey gold specks, little champagne-y specks in it. So I'm going to use this one actually just because it's like my holy grail. And I actually have a technique. Now I do want to just put a disclaimer out. I do not share this brush with anybody else. I do not use it on anybody else. If I do any like of my friends or family, I have another brush that I use on them. But and I only do this for highlighter. But because this is my own brush, I have a tip. I know some people would just say use setting spray, and I do use setting spray sometimes, but just for like on handiness and just like less effort, I lick the highlight brush, not like fully like soak it in my mouth, but like dab it on my tongue, get a little bit wet, then rub it in the highlighter, and it makes your highlighter more blinding. That's why people use setting spray. because it just emphasises the highlighter so much more. Put it on the cheekbones, bring it up. Repeat it obviously on the other side. So just apply it to the cheekbones. And then try and like do like a circling motion instead of like a swiping motion, so it doesn't look as streaky and as much of like a whole like lump of highlighter. I just try and like fizzle it out a little bit. Obviously temples, and then I do a little bit up the top of my nose. I used to do it all the way down my nose to the end, but now I do a little bit of a line here, stop a little bit here, and then put a little dot on the end. My cupid's bow because I have quite large lips. My chin slightly, and then just above the eyebrows just very slightly like that. So that's my highlighter, just very simple, very easy with this kind of brush. A lot of people use fan brushes. I used to for a while, and then I didn't like it, and then I used this kind of shaped brush, but it was making it look too caked on. So this is like a perfect brush. This is actually the Real Techniques setting brush for like setting under the eyes. I'm going to move on to my eyeshadow. I don't really know what to do, so I'm going to get another question and then I'm going to come back to y'all, not American, to you, and then we can move on with the next step, which is eyeshadow. Okay guys, so excuse the lighting change. Obviously it's a little bit later on in the evening, and the lighting has changed, but I'm going to continue to do this Q&A. So the next question somebody asked me was, oh, it's not even a question, it's just a comment, but someone just said they want to say they love the vids. So thank you, whoever said that they love my videos, thank you so much. I appreciate it. It means a lot to me, really it does, because I'm trying really hard to build up, to grow, to learn, and to make this into a full-time job. So it's not always going to be like amazing quality, but I am learning, and I hope you guys can bear with me. So the next official question, I guess you could say, after that is sweet or savoury. It's a little bit of a random question, but I have to say I am more of a savoury foods person than a sweet foods person. I always crave savoury food. I would much rather have a knob of cheese than a bar of chocolate. I don't know why. Just personal preference. So that's a very basic answer, but savoury. And we're going to move on to eyeshadow, like I said. So I have a bunch of palettes on my desk. Like, I have literally quite a few, because these are the ones that I just grab day to day, which are these, as I said, I literally just said I collect all the YouTubers' collaborations. So these are all face palettes, like the cheek contour thing that I showed you earlier, and eyeshadow palettes from YouTubers that did collaborations with Revolution. I do have like some high-end palettes. I have 3 Morphe palettes, and I use them literally like religiously for months and months and months, and then I got these and just kind of thought I'd keep them until I go out somewhere nice or I need a more wider selection of colours. But this pretty much is all I need for day to day. It has like a Brights palette, or what I would call a Brights palette. It's actually called Colour Burst palette, by Roxy Saurus. I have like more berry autumn kind of a palette that I don't have to worry about. I obviously got my cheek contour one, which I'm obsessed with at the moment. I have this one, which is more for summer and like autumn kind of colours, and then the other 2 I can kind of use for, you know, everything in between. So I have everything I need. Will explain how I do it, because I have a little bit of like a technique, considering I have like 2 different eyes. But let me find another question and I will explain why I have to do things like specifically different. Okay, so for this look I'm only going to be using 3 of the palettes that I have down the bottom. I do use quite a wide range of palettes. I tend to not really stick to one palette no matter what look I'm doing, because I need like a wide selection of different like pink tones, and they're usually spread across multiple palettes. So I have 1 by Soph Does Nails on YouTube, and I'm using 2 of Roxysaurus palettes. I'm just going to be kind of like creating whatever look comes to my mind, and while I am blending my eyeshadow, I'm going to answer a few more questions. So the next question is kind of similar to the last question. It is sweets or chocolate. Now, my mom is a massive chocolate fiend. She prefers chocolate over sweets and like candy and like gummy stuff and all that sort of stuff. But again, I kind of favour the minor amount of people. I am more of a sweets fan than a chocolate fan. I'd rather eat like gummy worms, Sour Patch Kids, strawberry laces, that kind of sweets than chocolate. It just appeals to me much more. And the next question is a birthday question mark. So I'm guessing they're asking what my birthday is. My birthday, for people that don't know and want to know, like this lovely lady wants to know, is the 28th of February 2003. So I'm 17 currently. I was supposed to be born on March 3rd. But I came a few days early. I still would have been like the same star sign and same age and that, and just slightly younger version of 17. So yeah, that's my birthday. I'm a Feb baby. I'm a very late Feb baby. Thank God that's a leap year that year, or I would have been born on the 29th if I'd still come 3 days early, and that would not have been a great birthday gift for me, but there we go. So I'm just going to take this fluffy blending brush. I don't really have many fluffy blending brushes, but I'm going to take this fluffy blending brush. I'm going to delve into the Soph palette, and I'm just going to be taking this bright pink shade here. It's called 21, and I'm just going to be running that literally not in any particular way, just like through my crease. Now I'm going to have to use the mirror, but I'm just going to like start to pat it on here, and the reason I have to do 2 different techniques is because this eyelid has 1 crease, and I don't know if you can tell, let me just look straight into the camera, this eyelid has like double crease here, and this one only has 1 crease. Do you see that little extra fold there? Which means I have to do like my the way I apply my eyeshadow slightly different on each eye. It took me like a very long while to be able to figure out how to like get a technique down, but once you get a technique down, you kind of just kind of learn to build it up over time. It doesn't really change all too much really. So I'm just going to literally pack this on and just blend it through the nearest crease my brush like kind of delves into, which is just across here. Obviously it looks very strong right now, very like unblended, very all over the place, but as you add more and more layers and like the complexity increases, it actually like seems to all blend together seamlessly. So just blending that out. I don't really have a technique how I blend. I kind of just have always been stuck with something someone told me once, which was to do window wiper motion, so like back and forth like that, and sometimes like in a swirl. So that's kind of what I tend to like follow in terms of motion of my brush movements, which is shoe size. My shoe size is a 7, but I can fit in, depending on what type of shoe it is, I sometimes need an 8 and sometimes I need a 7.5. And my perfect size honestly would be a 7.5, but it's very rare that you find a shoe shop that does half sizes anymore, especially like as you go into like adult sizes, they don't really do half sizes anymore. So you have to like kind of just go with one or the other, but 9 times out of 10 you go for the like smaller size because it's just so much easier. So I've been doing this technique for the last few days where I actually put shadow right in the inner corner and blend it upwards. It just like is this new look that I'm obsessing over, and usually when I do this I take it like right up to the brow, but seeing as I'm doing my brows today to show you, I'm gonna just try and go up as high as I can without going completely over into the brow. But I like to go like right up to my brow because it just looks more seamless and less like kind of just thrown on and unblended. So I'm trying my best to do like, because you can see look, that's like a solid line, and so usually I would blend it right up so it just like fits under the brow and doesn't look too like out there. The next question somebody asked is, do you have a middle name? And they obviously meant business because they put an exclamation mark. I do have a middle name, and it's May, and it is my mum's grandma's name. It's my great grandma's name, and my grandma was really close with my mum, and my mum loved her grandma to bits, so she gave me her name as my middle name. So it's very important to my mum. I don't like it particularly, but it has a cute meaning, so I'll take it. The next question is, are you a hopeless romantic? Now, I don't know if the person that asked this question knows me in person or has subscribed to me and doesn't really know who I am, because a lot of the people, like the majority of the people that I have subscribed to my YouTube are people from school, so they know me quite well. So I'm guessing you don't know me from school, because if you did, you'd probably know this. It'd be really obvious. But yes, I am a big hopeless romantic. I am even more of a hopeless romantic than a hopeless romantic. Like, I am so bad. Jen, I am a little bit of a hopeless romantic, but times 10 in that department. It's a little bit sad. So yeah, I am a hopeless romantic. The next question is, how old are you? I am 17 years old. I am 17. I turned 17 this year in February, as I said a couple questions ago. My birthday is the 28th of February, so I've only been 17 for like 3 months now. So not too long. I am officially an adult next year, quite early on in the year, which I guess has its perks. For being an early month baby, and I am quite obsessed with being a February baby, and I'm not really used to being actually the young one in the group. At school I was either the middle like in terms of age, or I was one of the eldest ones. I was never the eldest, but I was one of the like top old people in the group, and I was also one of the tallest. So the fact that the group of friends that I have now at college, I am literally the baby. I am the youngest of the 4 of us. I am the youngest. I'm still the tallest. I can still keep that in my name, but I am now the baby of the group, which I have never been in my entire life. And I thought maybe, like, I don't know, I never thought I'd really be bothered about it, whether I was like the oldest or the youngest, but I hate being the youngest. I really do. I don't know, I just feel so childish, even though like they're not. One of them's only a day older than me, like her birthday's literally the day before mine, so it's not even like it's that big of a deal. But let's go on to the next question. Okay, so the next question I got asked was, what star sign are you? So because I was born on the 28th of February, I am a Pisces. I'm a Pisces baby, which is very accurate for my personality. And even if I had been born, just a fun fact, even if I had been born on the date that I was supposed to be born on, so March 3rd, I would still fit into the Pisces star sign category. So no matter what, I was supposed to be a Pisces, and I could not be more like fitted to my star sign. Now obviously I really believe in star signs. I think they really actually show you and fit with who you are as a person. Some people don't agree with their star sign. I don't think there's really anything like them, but I am obsessed with star signs. I like reading books, I like buying books, I like reading horoscopes. Horoscope is basically this thing where it tells you all like certain things about the sign. So like Pisces, if you're a Pisces, you'll find love this year. It's supposed to like predict your future kind of thing. So I've just done my eyes like this. As you can see, it looks a little bit messy, but now on the solid white lid, I'm just going to take this little packing brush. Again, it's not by no like fancy brand, it literally is just a flat brush. I'm going to take this colour on the palette. It is a bright kind of orangey colour. Let me just focus this onto the palette. I'm going to take this bright orangey colour here, which is called a Bang Bang, and I'm literally just going to like put it as a block solid colour like this on the packer brush, on my centre of my lid, like all across my lid, because if you didn't know, orange and pinks are actually fire together. They look so cool. If you ever go to like a disco or something, always use these colours together, because they like, as you can see, they literally like pop each other out. So this is not really fancy. Like if you're going to like a festival, I would like highly recommend you copy this look, and then maybe put some eyeliner on and some like dramatic lashes and some gemstones, and like zhuzh up your face a little bit. And then the next question I have received is one place you want to visit. So one place, God, I've got loads of places I want to visit, but I think one place mainly I want to visit is, and it's not even really that interesting, it's not really that much of an interesting place, I think it's a common place really that people say they want to visit. So it's nowhere like you've never heard before, nowhere that's like amazingly unheard of or not visited that often. But I think I want to visit America and spend like some time in there, because if I, you know, do become a YouTuber, I do hope on moving to America and living in LA or California. I know that's such a classic YouTuber move, but there's so many more things in like America, specifically obviously LA and California and that sort of stuff, that is like made for YouTubers. So it'd be so much more helpful if I moved there. So anyway, I've put both the obviously, as you can see, orange on the eyes, and I've blended it a little bit upwards in my crease with the pink on both sides, just to blend it in seamlessly. And I'm going to keep this palette to the side because we're going to be using the orange again a little bit later. Next, I'm going to put my packer brush back, and I'm going to reach in for a brush kind of like this. I'm going to use this one, but like if you have like one at home that's like similar, this is like a perfect brush to use. So I'm going to use this brush. It's just like a little stubbly brush, little round brush, and I'm going to take a orangey, like a yellowy shade, should I say, sorry, in this palette. So this is like a more mustardy yellow, and yes, of like less of like a bright yellow. It's more like a sunset yellow, and I'm actually just gonna blend this right into the inner corner with the pink, just to kind of blend the pink out just a little bit more than what it was. I'm just gonna take that all the way up across the outside of the pink shade. Just gonna blend that out, so it kind of like a sunset look, like the yellow is almost like forming an edge around the pink. I'm just gonna take that all the way down, and I'm actually gonna like fluff it up into the eyebrows a little bit, just a tad, and because when I go over the eyebrows anyway, like it will find its place. So I'm just gonna like fluff it out a little bit like that, and that's one eye. It does look a little bit hectic right now, but it does get so much easier when you put on mascara and inner corner sparkle and stuff like that, and like you blend out the lower inner under the eye. Just to round up the previous question, because I don't think I really like ended it on a solid note, I do want to visit America, and maybe specifically like certain places, but America all over is kind of the place that I want to visit. So that's kind of blended out a little bit. And now we're going to go back into that palette with the orange, and we're going to answer another question. Okay, so now we're going to take, as I said in the last clip, I'm going to take this palette again, take this orangey shade and put it all under my lower lash line. Now the next question somebody asked me, I'm actually excited to answer this question. I mean, I think if you knew me and you knew my personality, as I cannot stress it enough, I'm very over the top, you would know this answer regardless. Like, I think you'd be surprised if it wasn't the answer that it was. But someone asked, big over the top wedding dress or small simple wedding dress. Now I'm not a simple woman to deal with, to live with, to love, to be friends with. I'm just not a simple person. Like, you either love me or you hate me. Not that I care either way. But I would say I could just like pretend to be like subtle and humble and say a small simple wedding dress, but it's not. Like, I want a ball gown, very very long train, over the top, almost like princessy, huge, poofy, overflowing, strapless lace wedding dress. Like, I want it to be over the top, big. I want to feel like I'm in some sort of like Cinderella movie and I'm getting married to Prince Charming. I really do. But I think as the years gone by, I've accepted that maybe that might not be the case. I think it'll just obviously depend on the money situation, because some people obviously are less fortunate than others. Some people's parents help them out, some people's parents don't help them out because it's not their kid, you know, it's not a little kid anymore, they've grown up and all this sort of stuff. So I think it really depends on the situation. Obviously I don't know what situation I'm going to be in when I get to my wedding day, if I ever get married. Yeah, I might not even get the chance to get married, which is so sad. I really hope I do. Future Jade, I really hope you do, mate. But we will see what the future tells. But yeah, big over the top wedding dress for me, that all the way. So as you can see, I've put some orange into my eyes, and now I'm going to go in with mascara. Sometimes I put in a fancy like inner corner glitter, but I quite like just the boldness of these eyes. I think they look quite patchy on camera, but in real life they look really blended and bright and bold. So the next question someone asked is, what tips would you give to someone beginning to work with special effects makeup? So this question, I just kind of want to say, I am no professional at special effects. I literally cannot even say I'm slightly a professional. Whereas makeup, I guess I can kind of say I'm a little bit of a professional, because I do it at an educational place and I'm learning and I'm actually studying about makeup and the complexity of it and all the like tips and tricks and instructions. I'm going through every single one, so I can officially say I'm kind of a little bit of a pro at that. But special effects I have not touched yet in my course. I literally only do it as a hobby, and I literally learn. So my tips for a beginner with special effects, especially a beginner, is actually to watch YouTube videos. I know it sounds boring, it doesn't sound as fun as getting your hands dirty, but honestly, I watch one YouTuber in particular, and she's not even like a YouTube channel that just teaches you step by step special effects. She makes it fun, she makes it a lot harder, she doesn't make you feel like you're doing like a lesson. And her name's Glam and Gore, her channel is, and she's amazing at special effects, and I watch all her videos, and I really try and concentrate and take it all in, and I practice. Buy special effects makeup, like build up your own kit. So like just use stuff that you use at Halloween, the fake blood, the latex, use resources around you, so toilet paper, tissues, cotton wool. You have to build it all up. And also it takes so much patience, and I'm surprised I can do it, or I still like it, because I am not a patient person. It's never been one of my strong points, patience, and a lot of things can stress you out and frustrate you and go wrong in special effects, especially when you're using what you kind of have at home. For example, when you use toilet paper, you have to separate all the sheets. So obviously, let's just say you get one sheet, one square of tissue paper. You then have to separate that one square into thinner squares, you know what I mean? Like separate all the layers of toilet paper in that one square, so it gets thinner and thinner and thinner. Then you have to rip it all up in strips, and then you have to lay it on top of the latex, then go over the top of that toilet paper with more latex. And when you try and go over the top of that toilet paper with latex, you can accidentally like get the toilet paper that you've just stuck down on the latex stuck to the sponge, and then you can accidentally like fold over a piece of toilet paper by accident, make it look all bumpy and gross, which sometimes you don't want. Sometimes you can rip the toilet paper with your sponge. Sometimes you can like, it can go terribly wrong and it can take ages. But it's just about determination. It's about thinking of your colour scheme. So if you're going to bruise, think of like a normal realistic bruise. What kind of colours can you see? Study your own injuries. Study your bruises, study your cuts. Look at the colours. Purples, reds, browns, blacks, blues. They all play important parts in bruises and cuts. And just try and like build up your kit over time. I'm hopefully next year going to be starting to get some like official professional special effects company makeup, but up to this point I've literally just been using what I have at home and Halloween store products, and like my own eyeshadows and brushes. And be prepared to sacrifice a lot of brushes because they get ruined. So you need to buy yourself some like cheap makeup brushes that are good, that the hairs don't fall out. They're good enough that the hairs don't fall out. They're not that cheap that the hairs fall out every time you use them, because they'll obviously get stuck in your work and all like mess it all up. But bad enough, not dear enough that you don't mind them getting ruined, because once you get latex on brushes you can never get them out. It sticks. And also wear protective clothing, because latex, when it gets on your clothes, you cannot get it off. Tip. So I hope that kind of answers your question. So I hope that helps. Now we're going to move on to mascara, and I'm going to show you a couple mascaras that I like. So my favourite mascara that I like is actually Benefit Boing mascara, but I've literally run out of that yesterday. So the ones I've been using literally right now are actually 3. I use like 3 different mascaras. I'm having a little bit of a reaction to mascaras at the minute. It's messing my eye up, making my eye water, this eye. But the one I usually use is Colossal Big Shot mascara. Just because it's waterproof. That's the only reason I use it. That's the only waterproof mascara I've ever used, and I've used about 4 different ones that can stick to its claim. Like all my other ones claim they're waterproof, but the moment I cry, and I mean like, I don't mean just like tear up. That ain't crying to me, mate. That's just tearing up. I mean like proper full on sobbing crying. Yeah, if you can stick through that, yeah, you get my approval of your sticker of claim of waterproof. So, and this one is the only one that seems to work. It's like a yellow packaging with like blue writing. So this is what it looks like. As I said, it's like yellow packaging with blue writing. The blue writing signifies that it's the waterproof one. If you're getting the original non-waterproof Colossal Big Shot, it's black writing, I believe. And it's by Maybelline. It's quite a big tube. It's one of those like big thick ones. So if you're not into like big thick dramatic ones and you like smaller ones, this is not for you. It's very dramatic. It doesn't really lift, but it like volumizes, and it's really dramatic. It is slightly clumpy even when it's freshly new, and it just makes you look like cat attack. But I really like it because I do a lot of dramatic looks, and it just really works for me. If I'm looking for something that like separates my lashes more, makes them more like lengthening and separated but still quite like bold, I go in with actually a really like staple classic for a lot of people. I'm going with the original Great Lash. I love this mascara. I have 2 tubes of this. It's really small though compared to that. Like you don't get much really. But yeah, again by Maybelline. It's the blackest black, and this one has a much smaller wand. Like a lot of people that like small ones would be obsessed with this mascara. Tiniest wand you could possibly think of. And it's just great all around really. So they're my 2 staples for mascara. So I'm actually just going to apply the Great Lash in this video while I read out another question. So let me go check another question. So the next question is, do you have any pets? I do have pets. I literally had 2 cats until November last year when I lost one. So now I only have 1 cat, and that's the only pet we have in the house. I am currently at the moment trying to convince my mum to get another cat, well, a kitten. The one that we currently have now, I wouldn't say we bought her from a rescue shelter, but we bought her from a shop in town that sell them, which is basically near enough kind of like a rescue kind of thing. They don't have thousands of cats. It's not like a cattery, it's not like a breeder. It's just a shop that's like a pet shop, and they were selling kittens. They don't do it very often, but sometimes they do. And yeah, I got her from there. So I kind of rescued her because she was in this little cage with her brother, and literally the couple that walked in literally right before we did, that was in front of us, they bought the boy, so then we bought the girl, and she's been with me ever since. So I'm trying to convince my mum at the moment to get another cat, but I also kind of want a hamster. I don't know if she'll let me have either, but I am trying to convince. Trust me, it is taking a while. But yeah, I have a cat. She's over there. She's on my bed right now. Her name is Luna. For now, I'm just going to call my own baby, the closest thing I have to a baby, which is my own pet cat, Luna, because that's her name. And it kind of suited her anyway because she's tabby, so she's like silvery grey, which if you don't know, Luna is another word for moon, and moon is a silvery white grey colour, so it kind of suits Luna's coat colours. And she's a girl, so it's perfect. So it was a good name for her anyway. So her name is Luna, and she is 6 years old on June 11th this year, which is very soon. She's nearly 6 years old because I had her in 2014, and she was 9 weeks old when I got her. So yeah, she's a little baby. A little baby. We love her to bits. She's a rebel. She's such a dastardly like cat. Like she's so crazy. She's a bully to all the other cats near our house, apart from one she's petrified of. But apart from that, she rules the roost. She fights all the time. She brings back like stuff that she shouldn't be bringing back. Like she brought back a goldfish from our neighbour 2 doors down's pond. She fished it out and brought it to us, which I know a lot of people are probably thinking that's normal. Like, have you never seen like a movie or advertisements where the cat like is always getting the fish? Yes, but it's never really happened before with the cats since I've been born. A lot of them just tend to get like mice or birds and stuff like that. So it was a little bit of a shock, but you know, she's a cheeky little monkey, but we all love her to bits. So that's the only cat pet I have, which is 1 cat. But I really hope that we get another one, or get me a hamster or something, because I like having pets. So that's what I want to know. Put in the comments below if you have any pets. If so, what are they? What are their names? How old are they? And describe their personality in 3 words. I would love to know all about your guys's cheeky pets and what they are like and how much you love them and how old they are and all that sort of stuff. While I finish off my mascara, make sure you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. I can't wait to add you to my little family, and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload, because there are going to be lots more of these coming along. I did mention that in my Instagram and my YouTube Instagram, which are in the description box down below. So now that I've done with my mascara, I actually then do brows. I have 2 different ways I do my makeup routine. I do them like completely differently. Sometimes I start with my brows, so it's all a little bit jumbled up, but this is like the regular way I do it. So I either do 2 things to my brows. I either pomade them even though my favourite type of brow product is a brow pencil. Specifically, precisely, my brow pencil by Benefit is my all-time fave, and I've gone through 2 of them. I need to get another one when quarantine is over. But my second choice would be pomade. So I'm using this L'Oreal pomade. It's L'Oreal Paradise Brow Pomade in the shade Brunette 104. And I use it with this kind of angled brush. Let me just show you real quick. This kind of angled brush. I'm not in the mood to do that. I literally just gel my brows up so they look really bushy and out there. And to do this, I use this one product. Now, I'm very new to brow gel, but do prefer doing my brows properly with pomade and concealer and all that sort of stuff. My favourite type of brows are Instagram brows, but I do this every now and again because I like the effect it has on my brows. But my brows, even though they seem dark, they're actually not that dark, and therefore when you brush this gel on, because of all the dramatic makeup I have on my eyes and like the colour I have on my, you know, the foundation and all the concealer and that, when I do my brows and I try and obviously like brush them up like this, that I'm really trying to get them to do it, I don't think they're that like strong enough a natural colour for them to stand out, so it just looks like I've like gave a half like witted attempt at makeup and then just not bothered or stopped bothering. So I like don't like it because I just feel like because I've not got a enough natural solid colour in my eyebrows, and my eyebrows aren't that naturally strong in colour, that it therefore means that I like, you can't even see it, like from a distance. Look, my brows don't look feathered, they don't look strong or bold, they just look like I've done nothing to the top half of my face. I look like I've got no eyebrows. So for the purpose of the video, because you know I'm going to show that my features aren't always perfect, I'm going to just keep my eyebrows feathered. I do really like it, but usually I use obviously this pomade, this brush and a spoolie, and I draw them much bigger than my eyebrows because I hate having thin eyebrows. If I had to choice, I would have eyebrows like Cara Delevingne. I just love them. I'm obsessed with them. So now that I've done my brows, or like one kind of style of my brows, I'm just going to talk about a eyeliner real quick. I'm not going to use an eyeliner on this eye look because I quite like it how it is. It like really brings out my eye colour, so I don't think it needs eyeliner. But I'm just going to talk about the product real quick because it is like the best eyeliner product I've ever used and liked, and I have gone through, I might as well be an eyeliner connoisseur. I've been through so many eyeliners, so many different types of eyeliners, it's actually a joke. So while I talk about this eyeliner, I'm also just going to read out one question. So this eyeliner is actually by NYX. I got recommended it to me by the lady in Superdrug. She wears eyeliner every day, and this is the only one that she can use because it's so thin, like it's so tiny, so thin, so precise, so black, and so like on point that it's everything you need, like from a big eyeliner pencil, from like a big wing to a small wing. It's a pen. It's like pretty self-explanatory what it looks like. So thin and so pointy, and it is literally full of ink. Now, one major thing that I've actually struggled with in eyeliner, I've been doing makeup, as I said, since I was about 11, maybe, actually not even younger than that, maybe about 8, but I didn't start wearing eyeliner until I was about 10, so I've been doing it for about 7 years going through eyeliner. I have used pot liner, I have used dip ink liner. These are called pen liners because they have a point like a pen, but you can get ones that I like, they have like kind of like lip brush style applicators, and you dip them in, and there's like just like one strand of hair that you dip into the pot and you go along. It's not really a pen, it's more like a just like brush hairs. And I have never been able to get a successful point wing with any of them apart from a pen style. And the worst thing about eyeliners is you struggle to find one that's black enough. You'll put it on your eye and you'll think it's black, but it's actually be like a charcoal grey, like a dark grey. And it looks muddy, it doesn't look true black, like jet black. It looks kind of like dusty black, it flakes off. This lasts forever. I actually struggle to get this off even with makeup remover. It sticks to your eye like glue. It is the blackest eyeliner I've ever seen in my life. It is sharp, it's on point, it never runs out of ink, which is another thing. It does not run out very easily. You can hear the little ball inside that like shakes all the ink up, and as you can see, it like it's just so like black and great and staple for me. And it's literally about £7, which I'd buy again because NYX products all around are just incredible. Even their like shadows are literally insane. And I'm gonna answer the question now because I did not answer the question. So the next question was, what would you say is your biggest insecurity? So I have like 2 major insecurities. I have my stomach, which I hate. I just can't even respect it. I just don't like it. Obviously I don't want anyone to think that I think I'm fat or anything, but like I just don't like it. I just don't like the way it looks. But then I'm also very against gym or exercise, so that's kind of a little bit of a situation. I hate it, in all honesty. I really don't like it. And the funny thing is that I only ever had one insecurity my entire life. I managed to get to 16 years of life with only having one insecurity. And as soon as I hit 16, I just got this insecurity for my stomach, and then it's never gone away. I'd actually say I hate it more than the one insecurity I had my whole entire life, which is weird because I've only had the stomach insecurity obviously for like a year now, whereas I had the first insecurity for 16 years, or like, you know, slightly shy of that when I first could notice, and I still hate it more. Because the one I've literally had from when I was really young was my lips. I don't like my lips. I don't like my lips and my stomach. That's just about it. I don't really care about anything else. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, I don't really like my body in general, but like, it doesn't bother me enough to think about it or to get upset about it. But with my lips and my stomach, they really like upset me and make me feel like insecure. I don't know why, because I get so many compliments for my lips, but I really dislike them. I would rather have a lip reduction. I talk about this a lot. I'm a very big advocate for being honest about my lips, because I get a lot of comments actually like praising my lips, which is why I think I've hated it a lot in my life. But yeah, they're my 2 biggest insecurities. And now we're going to quickly set our face with this setting spray. I have 2 setting sprays. I have a dewy setting spray by Barry M. It's an alright spray. If you need a spray, you need a cheap spray on the go, a small bottle, one night trip, you forgot your setting spray, you need to go buy some. Good purchase. It's good. But I don't really like dewy skin looks, apart from if it's in the summer. I prefer matte looks, so it's not my favourite setting spray. My favourite setting spray is All Nighter by Urban Decay, but drugstore wise my favourite one is L'Oreal Paris Infallible Magic Setting Spray, a long lasting setting spray. It's in this big bottle, it's 100ml. It has like a really like fine soft mist. Now I'm a big setter, I set my face like hardcore, so I want to set this before I do my lips, and then we'll be done. So for lips, let me go pick up my lipstick and let me go get one more final question, and then I will come back and we can do the final results. Okay, finally, because I have done such a dramatic look on the eyes, I like to go very nude, very basic on the lips. Now in terms of lip liner, pencils that I've been loving recently are actually NYX ones. I bought 2 NYX lip liners last time I went makeup shopping, and I'm obsessed. I need to get a ton more. They're like £3, £2 each. They're NYX, so NYX Professional Makeup Lip Pencil. This one's in the shade Natural. I have another one, but because I'm going with this liquid lip, I like to use the lightest one that I have. And because I have big lips as it is, I don't need to overline, and as I don't like my lips anyway, I wouldn't overline. I'd underline if I knew how to. And I try and I don't really do it very like neatly, because I'm gonna have obviously lipstick over the top, and I know it will all like blend in. But one tip, if you have like a top lip covered in concealer and a bottom lip not like I have right now, you either have to choose between concealing it all or removing the concealer on the area that is concealed. I prefer to have concealed lips. So I'm making the bottom ones concealed, and then I'm now applying my liquid lip. So this liquid lip is by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's in the shade Crush. It's a liquid lipstick, and it looks quite glossy, quite shiny right now, but I promise you it's just because it's slightly melted. It will dry very, very matte towards the end, and when you first put it on, when you first apply this liquid lipstick, it will seem much darker than you thought. And that's because it is wet. They said it's a liquid product. It will dry. So right now that looks quite like a brownie nude, but in actual, once it dries, it's actually a pinky mauvey colour. So while I let that dry, I then decide and contemplate whether I want to put a gloss over the top or not. But because this look is like full of matte and it's got no shimmers, I'm going to just keep it as a matte lip. So that is my literal makeup complete, and I will answer the final question that I picked out while I was picking out my lipstick, which was, let me find it because I've got quite a few. Oh, what's your favourite food? I don't really have a solid favourite food. I am a foodie, so which means I love trying all different types of food. I love like experimenting with different food combinations. I snack all the time on new things, old things, so I'm a little bit of a food freak. So I don't really have a favourite food, but I guess if you're asking me what if I could only have one meal, and that was it, what would I have? I would have spaghetti bolognese with meatballs and cheese and garlic bread. It's like my favourite dinner. Someone says, what's your favourite food, all-time favourite food? I'll say that, or a Chinese. Or barbecue food, like food on, like if you're having a barbecue and you put food on the barbecue. Barbecued food is like my favourite. Not barbecue as in like the base sauce covered in it or anything like that, as in cooked on a barbecue. Those are like my top 3 favourite things, but the spaghetti bolognese with meatballs, cheese, garlic bread, that's like my all-time favourite thing. So thank you so much guys for joining me for part 1 of this Q&A. Make sure to smash the thumbs up button if you like this video, so I know whether you have good feedback so I can do a part 2. Subscribe if you haven't already, join the family, and click the notification bell so you never miss an upload, because why would you want to? And comment down below what pet you have, what its name is, what breed it is, how old it is. Describe its personality in 3 words, and I will catch you guys in part 2 of this Q&A. I love you all so much. Thank you for attending part 1, and peace out.